All right. Okay. Oh, wait.
Need your spectators?
I suppose I'm going to need those, yeah. Let's see here.
Hold on. This tripod is moving.
From when I walk by?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Where are you at?
Okay. I'm going to learn how to put that at the backside. I like that. I've always been a blooper guy. I like bloopers. Now, that was, of course, on purpose. But some bloopers that are not on purpose are funny. But some bloopers that are on purpose are funny.
Who are we talking to?
Well, I was talking kind of you and the camera. I'm breaking the fourth wall.
Oh.
That's who I'm talking to. Okay. Ready? We're ready. Minute, 10 seconds. Okay. Shalom, y'all. It's Kasamak Ban Yasharala.
And Tiffany.
Welcome back. Now, that was not real. See, that was not purposeful. That was on accident.
Did you choke on air?
No, just a little bit of saliva went down the road too. That was not on purpose. Okay, we'll try that again.
Need some CPR.
All right, 135. Shalom, y'all. It's Kasamak Ban Yasharala.
And Tiffany.
And welcome back to another episode of Couch Conversations. In today's episode, we're going to go over the age-old question of to whoop or not to whoop. That is the question. And if you're going, what does he mean whoop? You might use the word spank. So over the course of many generations, obviously going back a couple generations, our parents grew up where they were getting whooped probably very viciously up until recent times where there are parents.
A beating.
It's called a beating. It's called abuse is what it's called. But up until recent times, now it might be considered, well, there's a lot of parents that don't do that at all. So then my question is, where do you sit as far as to whoop or not to whoop?
That's Well, I grew up with the whoopings.
With the whoopings.
Got a couple switches in there every now and then.
So you've got a few beatings. Woo! Yeah, I got a few beatings too. I got whoopings and I got beatings. Yeah. And there's some of y'all out there that know the difference.
It was called building character in my household. It was called
abuse.
In my household, it was building character and your name, which was etched in it. However, when I became a mother, I felt that it was dependent upon the child and dependent upon the situation. Now, I happen to have been blessed with two good children.
I concur.
That I can only say for my eldest, I only had to spank him maybe a handful of times.
Okay.
My youngest, he got away with murder.
And you can tell.
Yeah. But he's still a good kid. So I think you really,
all right.
As a parent, you have to know your child. You have to know what works for them. Some you can just talk to sternly and they get it. Others don't. So
yeah.
That's for me.
I can hear that. So for me, I definitely grew up both with whoopings and beatings for sure. So my thought process was, as a young child, this is probably not going to be the most popular thought pattern, but even as a young child, I did recognize that there were definitely times I should have got a whooping. And so I seen the necessity of it. Now, I hated it. I did not find pleasure in it. So we're not going there. But there were times where, I knew I did bad. And so I deserved the punishment that I was getting. But I also was able to recognize there were a couple times that it definitely went overboard. And so my thought as a young child was, when I get older and have kids, I will definitely give them whoopings, but I will be better at it. Meaning I was going to try to be more balanced about it. There would be times where there would be whoopings. And my first, in my first marriage, she grew up with no whoopings at all. So we had to come up with a compromise, a balancing act for our children. So that actually introduced me to timeouts. And I did learn that timeouts can work sometimes. Now I know that in our, culture, we don't do timeouts. You're on a timeout, young man. We don't do timeouts.
Well, a timeout in this day and age, they still got so much access in their rooms to technology and everything else. So what are they getting a timeout from?
But I mean, so there are some parents that, yes, they will say, we're taking away those things. No tablet, no games, read a book or do something that they know is going to kind of hurt, but also help the child. So you have some of that as well.
Yeah. I got creative with some things.
Yeah, you have to be creative. But even for me and my brother, because we were close in age, so my sister was 2.5 years older than me, so it was a little bit different story for her as far as like being with me and my brother. You can see myself in the background creeping. We asked him to be a part of this, and he said no. Now he come out, he got his fringes on. He trying to get in front of the camera. Look at him. Look at him.
Yeah, put that on.
He thinks he's slick. Go on and say hi to the people. Say hi to the people, son. Look at him creeping in the background. Little creep, 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 creep. So anyway,
love you.
He's hilarious. So, but as I was saying, I just was going to be more balanced about it. So I definitely believe in whoopings, but I also believe in balance. And there are other means. It's not, nothing or whooping. I believe there is stuff in between that can be utilized as well to help discipline and teach a child.
Yes, I utilize that more often than a spanking. My most famous one was the purposely growing the yard really tall and then making him mow the lawn with a manual mower.
The mechanical one,
yes,
no motor, just
no
the blade.
motor, just the blade. Old school.
He probably got PTSD on that one.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
That was Randy from the last episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then my other second was when I used to celebrate the Folly Day Christmas, and he was just being real bratty. So I stripped his room down to just a bed with sheets and a pillow and a blanket, took everything out of his room and made him donate it to a charity.
And, wow.
And made him hand the bags all over to people. Shoes, brand new shoes, everything donated. Since you're a child of fortune that obviously doesn't care about all this stuff that you have and don't want to clean your room, I'll give it all to a child that will appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. Since we're sharing stories, let me share my story.
Ooh.
So my first episode with timeouts, my oldest daughter, Anya, she was, I think, 3 years old at the time or something. And, I agreed. So here was my thinking. I agreed to timeouts and no whoopings early on rather than fighting about it because I knew it wasn't going to work. Now, I was kind of right, but I was also wrong because it did work. But she also realized later on in life that, yep, we do need to do whoopings. So we both learned and grew from it. But the very first time that I did try the timeout method, I remember that Anya was crying because she couldn't have something that she wanted. And, this is typical kids. They cry when that's their way of communicating. She was disappointed. She was sad that she couldn't have what she wanted. So she cried because of it. And so, I put her in the corner and I said, you can come out of the corner when you stop crying. So she would kind of cry. She would sit there and cry. And I tell her to turn around. I made her face the corner. And then, she kind of calmed down and I'd say, are you done? And she'd start crying again. She kind of start back up again. And so, I went through that maybe about 2 or 3 times. And then finally I asked, she would calm down and I'd ask her, I say, are you done? And she turned around and she went, mm-hmm. And then I started crying. Broke me. Like I had zero, I had no idea that was coming. Like it just, because she learned the lesson. Like it actually did work. That's really, I was touched that she learned the lesson and it was something other than whoopings. So, now later on in life, she did get a couple, more than Alicia. Alicia learned from her sister. So and I think she was a little more, maybe a little more sneaky. But I didn't have to do a lot of that for either of them, to be honest with you. Not nearly as many as I got, that's for sure.
I don't either.
Yeah,
That was horrible. So you were the epitome of this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you parent with the timeout.
Well, I never used those words because no, it didn't hurt me. No, but I definitely after I cried. I cried not because I was hurt, but because I was touched. There's a difference. I was touched. I was proud. I was a proud father. My daughter learned a lesson, and it came through something other than the only thing that I ever knew. Now I will say this: we did get on punishment too. Like there was times where we would get a choice. You want a whooping right now or punishment for 3 days, which means we couldn't go outside and play. And back then, that was everything. We did not have game consoles. They weren't even invented yet. I mean, Atari was invented, but we definitely didn't have one. And then in television, which was before Atari, but we didn't have that. So for us, it was going outside, playing with our friends. That was everything. And so the crazy thing about that was if I was on punishment, but my brother wasn't, and we were close in age, we shared the same friends and, in the neighborhood, they were still playing in our backyard. And I'd have to look out the window of my room from punishment at them. It was like I was in prison. Like I was looking out of the yard and everybody playing. It was crazy. Oh, you talk about some torture? That was torture. No. But I'd rather, there was a few times I definitely chose punishment over whooping. I did not want that belt.
We got both in our household. We got both. And there was definitely, when Tweety said that they were on punishment, that means don't come to this house, don't knock on the door, don't call the phone, nothing. Don't send a carrier pigeon. They'll be outside when I let them go.
That pigeon probably died. Probably wrung that pigeon's neck.
The warden, when the warden released us, we were allowed to go outside.
What say you in the comments? But before I leave you with that, let me leave you with this. I want to point this out. Maybe some of you don't know. Now, you see my shirt says Elohim, Elohim. That means that's the Hebrew word for God. We don't use those terms anymore. But let me just tell you, in the scriptures, with anybody that knows me, that knows Tiffany, knows we live by these scriptures. We truly, truly live by these scriptures. In the book of Proverbs, which is one of the wisdom books, in chapter 23, at verse 13 and 14, listen to what it says.
What it tell them?
Withhold not correction from the child. Okay, so it's just saying don't withhold the correction. That's not, you could correct many different ways. We said that, right? But then it says, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. It is condoning that. I know we live in a country that says no capital punishment and we can't do that and all whoopings are abuse and all this kind of stuff. But the scriptures say that if you beat him with the rod, he shall not die. Why? Because you're their parents. You're trying to correct them. You want to mold them. And sometimes that's the kind of correction they need. It ain't because you're really trying to do them harm, but you are trying to make it hurt to learn a lesson so they won't repeat that particular behavior. Here's verse 14. Thou shalt beat him with the rod and shalt deliver his soul from hell. That is an Elizabeth reference to the movie because when the pious, priests and all that, and they're the enemy in this movie. When they say hell, that's how they say it. And I used to do that with Montel. We would read every time we came across the word hell, I'd make him say it like that. Hell! I mean, they just really put emphasis on it.
And now he has PTSD.
And now he has PTSD for it. But he did like it though. He did. He had fun saying it. He would say it and he would smile. He would say it, he would smile.
No, I did not.
So the scriptures say, go ahead and beat your child when it's necessary. Now, I know it didn't say necessary, but we use our discernment. We love our children. We want to discipline and raise our children up to be respectful and obedient and, mature and intelligent, making good decisions. And sometimes, they make a decision that costs them something. We'd rather beat them when they're younger so that the world don't got to beat them when they're older, with things like prison. Or unfortunately nowadays, that might even cost them their life for no reason at all. It's really sad. But what say you in the comment section?
Holla at us.
Whooping or no whooping? And I'm going to tell you right now, if you say no whooping, you're wrong. I'm just messing, but you are. But I'm just messing. Say it in the comment section anyway.
Holla at us.
And you catch us next time on Couch Conversations. Yeah!
And there it is.
Yeah.